Welcome back, Mr. Witness. So, witness, for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters, let me remind you once again that you are still under oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed. Thank you. Madam Chair, over to you.
Mr. Camara, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma.
You're welcome back.
Thank you, ma.
Council, we may proceed.
Yes. Yes. Mr. Camara, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Phone is, yes, it's now back. Thank you, the two doubters, for fixing the microphone. So the $472,000 is for the late nights.
Yes.
This clearly did not follow any procedure.
That's true.
Madam Chair, documents from GPA. Madam Chair, did we admit the GPA two documents that the witness? Yes, may I please have it. Now, there seems to have been a request made to GPA.
Yes.
For the use of single source method to procure the lead lights, correct?
That's true.
The first letter you have received from GPPA is dated the 17th of March 2022. It is a response to the letter that you that was dated the 4th of March 2022 and received on the 15th of March 2022 relating to a request for approval to procure LED lights from Senegal.
Yes, sir.
Do you have that letter now with you currently?
If can you just recap? Let me hear. You said?
Do you have the letter with you that was sent by the CEO to get approval from GPPA for the use of the single source method to procure these LED lights?
No, that letter is not in my custody.
Okay. Now I read, it says, address to the Chief Executive Officer, Banjul City Council, Banjul. Dear Sir, request for approval to procure LED lights from Senegal. We refer to your letter without reference, dated 4th of March 2022, but received 15th of March 2022, relative to the above subject matter. Please be informed that the authority cannot make any decision on the request because of the following anomalies. Number 1, no procurement method chosen. Number 2, no GPA form 100, that is the national requisition form, present. Number 3, no GPA form 012. There is a declaration by each member of the contracts committee, including the accounting officer. And please correct above mentioned anomalies and resubmit for our consideration. We thank you for your understanding and cooperation and avail ourselves for further guidance on your procurement. Now, you responded, and then there is a letter to that effect as well on the 30th of March 2022, addressed to the GPPA, sorry, it's Chief Executive Officer of Banjul City Council from GPA. It reads, we refer to your submission without covering letter, but received to the 8th of March 2022. Relative to the above subject matter, having carefully reviewed your submission, based on the information provided in the minutes of the Contracts Committee meeting dated the 7th of March 2022, we regret to inform you that approval cannot be granted because of the following. Number one, the procurement is not in line with Section 44 of GPA Act. That is the amendment to that, 2018. Absence of certified signed invoice from the supplier and no specification for the LED lights. So therefore, the authority advises you to use restricted tender for the procurement in question and resubmit for the authority's consideration. Also, be reminded that branding is not acceptable. We thank you for your understanding and cooperation. So this was rejected
Yes.
by GPA.
Yes.
And so you said here that the mayor made a remark
Yes. Yes.
in relation to GPA's response.
Yes.
Can you please repeat that?
The remark that she made was she's representing the people of Banjul.
Yes.
And she cannot sit here
Yes.
while crocodiles are attacking people in Tabakorat.
Right.
She will go ahead and procure the lights.
And so was that supposed to be a justification?
No.
And why would you sign the check together with the CEO, knowing fully well, now having evidence that the application was refused, was not granted? Well, that should be a reason as to why you should say, I can go ahead and sign the check.
Yes, I regret my part in it, but again, being clever, I also involve the internal controls that whatever happens, because I'm not going to Dakar, I'm not the one going, it's the protocol officer going. The lights have to be here, and when the lights were here, I refused to go and confirm them. I told them my job, raising the impress was my job, and then handing the impress to Margaret Samba. The lights are here, let the internal audit go and do the needful. So that's, but looking in hindsight, I regret my part in not also picking another fight and saying I'm not going to sign the check.
Now, is it a one time?
No, three.
Three?
Yeah, three tranches, yes.
Three transactions?
Yeah, three transactions, yes.
Yes, because I see the second one is as well the same amount. Yes, $472,000 is
Yes.
$472,500 is
Yes.
for the continuation of the LED lighting project.
Yeah, and the excuse that was given was Margaret Samba's car can only ferry 25 lights at a time.
At a time?
Yes, at a time. Going to Dakar and coming back to
And
Banjul.
coming back.
Yes. And it was in the pace of within 10 days
Okay.
that these journeys were made back and forth.
We have another $354,000 is again for the LED lighting project, correct? And the same applies.
Yes, it's three of them. 472,500, 354,000, 472,500.
Yes.
Yes.
There was a sitting allowance drawback paid to the Director of Finance, $24,000 on the The voucher date, 28th of February 2021. The request was raised by the Director of Finance. I wish to request for the payment of my General Council's allowance on standard terms.
Yes.
You had, you attended General Council's meeting?
Yes.
How many?
I attended for the first 3 months when I joined council, and after that, the mayor said they will call directors if and when they need them. So it stops.
A gearbox was procured,
Yes.
or was repaired for $13,500.
Yes.
Was this handled by procurement?
If at all it was handled by procurement, the forms must be attached.
Where I see the procurement form,
Yes.
The procurement requisition form.
Yes.
That's only the requisition form.
Yes. Then it passed through procurement.
Signed by you, Director of Finance,
Yes.
Dado Jallo, procurement.
Yes. Dado is in
Mustafa
procurement.
Bachili.
Yes. Dado is in procurement.
$54,000 is the hiring of a vehicle for the Director of Finance for April 2022. This was what we discussed last time.
Yes, exactly.
You purchased the vehicle from the dealer?
Yes, the last month, because when council gave me notification that they're no more gonna hire the vehicle, I asked the guy how much was it for sale, and I only hired him once. And then he told me 200,000. Then the first installment was paid by council, and the rest was paid by me. And up to this point, the transfer was not done, and I still owe him $1,500.
Dollars.
Yes, $1,500. Yes, same money.
Yes, we have also some vouchers for Momodou Lamin Biba.
Yes, PRO.
Now let me show you the vouchers that I already read out so you can go through it. Okay, please go through it. For the payments made to you by way of impress.
Yes. Yes, confirm.
Yes. Count, please. Just count it. Yes. apply to tender the following vouchers as identified by the witness. The first is PV 21000049. The other is PV 0408. We have 0891, 22001197, 22001396, 21000069, 21000144, 0903, voucher number 22001238, and 21000067 to be admitted into evidence and marked accordingly as an exhibit.
Voucher dated the 10th of December 2022. The voucher number is PV 22001396. Voucher dated the 16th of February 2021, and it has PV 21000069. Voucher dated the 18th of May 2021 with PV 21000144. Voucher dated 10th of May 2022, and it has PV number 0903. PV voucher dated 31st of October 2022 with PV number 22001238. Voucher dated 15th of February 2021. It has PV number 21000067. Voucher dated 9th of May 2022. It has PV number 0891. Voucher dated the 31st of October 2022 with PV number PV 22001197. A voucher dated the 4th of March 2022 with PV number 0408, and the final voucher is dated 28th of February 2021 with PV 21000049. These vouchers are admitted in a bundle as exhibit in evidence, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MC in brackets 1/025.
As the commission places. Now, Mr. Camara, we will soon be done.
Yes, thank you.
For the first part, maybe we will call you back.
Yes.
But Momodou Lamin Biba,
Yes.
you know him?
Sorry, Council. The exhibit number should be 26 instead of 25 because we already have 25.
As the commission places. Yes, please proceed.
Yes, Momodou Lamin Ba was,
Yes.
was the former PRO, PRO to council.
Yes.
Yes.
There were monies given to him by way of impress, and several requests raised for and on behalf of the mayor. Yes.
Yes.
You recall this?
That's true. Yes. Yes.
Did Momodou Lamin Biba retire this impress? Was he retiring impress?
Yes. Momodou Lamin Ba tried I have some respect for him because he tries very hard to retire impresses that are given to him. But in most cases, sometimes some of this expenditure and how they spend the money, you are not able to get authentic receipts and documentations.
They what?
The way the monies are spent.
Yes.
They are not able to get documentation, correct documentation
Yes.
to back it up. Because ideally, at certain threshold, above 3,000 and above, should go through GPPA, procurement and all that.
Right.
But the fast lane that they operate is just getting the cars on behalf of the Lord Mayor and then saying they're going to do A, B, and Z, which are executed. But again, those expenditures or those errands that the mayor do send them, to be able to get documentation and paperwork from those errands and paper, activities that they carry out is a challenge for them most of the time. But Elbert tried, but I told him, tomorrow is opaque and you are a young man, do your best to be retiring these monies.
And it was always a problem.
Yes, and it was always a challenge.
And like I said earlier, after every amount given, there has to be retirement, a failure of which there should not be another impress given.
Yeah, that's true. We got it wrong there. We should have kept an impress register. But again, the frequency.
Yes.
The frequency of how they request for these funds is sometimes not normal. And again, once you start to ask some difficult questions, it's always an issue because at B.C.C, at every point, from the cashier point to the accounts department to the security, it's a control environment that any word you alter goes to the Lord Mayor, and even you don't even have the chance to say no, because you have a leak. You have a leak of people that are just shopping for information, negative information, to spread and cause problems. So the admin staff, they sit there, they just execute orders like a barracks.
Even barracks sometimes should have rules.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Ba also testified.
Yes.
And also explained the circumstances surrounding the monies that he was requesting for, and for the most part on behalf of the mayoress, and as well struggled to provide retirement for these funds. But Mr. Bacheli is aware of this irregular process.
Yeah, for me.
Do you guys discuss this at any point?
Yeah, for me, I try to understand the frequency of my CEO, Bacheli, But I think the relationship that exists, maybe there is something that he cannot be independent as far as the mayor is concerned. I don't know what's the problem, but there is something very, very strange that when it comes to the mayor, Bachili can use his independence and use his alterance. For instance, is the only CEO that will call us to a senior directors meeting, and the mayors will be there 3 hours, Bachili will alter a word. And I say, this is strange. You, that is the boss, you bring us here, and then at the end of the day is we against the mayor, or we are the ones to say no. You sit there in that chair easy, you never alter a word for 3 hours, 4 hours. And again, whatever happens, they will always have their meetings, caucus meeting, before they invite the rest. And most of it is not geared towards moving the Banjul City Council forward. It's all about they are against us, especially the internal auditors. In my life, I've never seen people, CEOs that care, director of finance and managers that care about their welfare to restrain an auditor. They've gone to the point that they have to be writing constant memos to these auditors. In the end, you want to take an auditor like J. Kor and you take him to cleansing service. So it doesn't make sense. And then at the end of the day, I don't think it's getting any better, because you've replaced Abdullah J. Kor with somebody that will even increase the fuel of the mayor from 15 to 20,000. So it's difficult. I think we need some education, especially with politicians that assume positions, and then help them to understand where their limits are. And again, the CEOs also must stand up.
They know, Mr. Camara, let's proceed. It's a struggle for power. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
And that's as simple as it can get. They know. Even the least educated among the chairmen or the mayors or the mayors or the least exposed, they know that if money is not, if it is public funds, there is a procedure for it.
That's true.
You don't have to go to school to understand that it is public funds, and so there's a procedure for it.
Yes.
You understand that? And this has been talked about every single day. Even when they issue out employment letters, they clearly state that they should follow these guidelines, the relevant books of accounts.
Yes.
And so that's it. It's not theirs.
Yes.
We have the special audit of Banjul City Council for the year 2021 and 2022.
Yes.
There is the issue regarding the overpayment of contract fees. It reads, during the review of contract agreement between Banjul City Council and Future Generation Construction Company. You recall this?
Yeah, I did.
Of Banjul Albert Market dump site highlighted the cost of the contract as $968,260 to be paid in 4 installments. However, during our review of the cash book for the period, we noted the council paid 5 installment payments amounting to $1,160,152, thus making an overpayment of $191,892 to the contractor without any justification. How is this possible?
It's possible because earlier on in the day, I gave you those 10 companies. And those 10 companies, Future Generation is part of those companies that are brought to council by the mayor, by the Lord Mayor.
Okay.
So again, maybe payment was done, and again, she minuted to Bachili that they needed to pay again, and then that should be reason for the overpayment.
Yeah,
but in most times we do look at, because we don't pay full. Whatever we pay, if we are to pay again 10% out of the 100%, when the 90%, we need to pay another 30%. That voucher is printed, and then we will know with the document that we've collated that we need to get it right.
But if you have the contract, then you have the amount to be paid.
Yes.
You have the necessary deductions for the necessary taxes.
That's true.
Then the simple calculation, you know exactly how much you should pay.
Yes.
So for instance, the situation appeared to be so tense that no one can even have to calculate anything, just pay
Yes.
as you are ordered?
Yes, because what happened is within the 3 years that I've been there, I think this is the first one that evaded me. But even I am the first living director of finance in Banjul City Council to pay 1,100,000 as withholding tax to GRA. It has never happened. All director of finance that come and go have never paid a dime to the government. I stood my ground to take monies from this contract and paid it to GRA.
Yeah. So when did you realize that this payment there was an overpayment?
When we realized
That there was an overpayment?
no, I didn't know. As I said, up to this day where we stood, the auditors have not brought a draft to me to look at. They've sidelined me for reasons best known to them. I even told the management that whatever happens, even if you don't want me, I am the captain. Allow me to deck the ship and you can kill me after that. But an audit cannot come during my tenure and you took me out and said, well, don't talk to him. I said, do people know what's happening? Even when I came as a stranger, what I found in your hand that was not in order, I managed it and helped you sail well. Now that I am here, this is my audit, and you took me out of it. I'm just seeing these things now.
All right. So we'll give you time to kind of find more information about this.
Yes?
You can have access to the special audit through Mr. Camara.
Okay.
We have there were several travel expenses by the Office of the Mayor.
Yes.
On page 19 of the special audit report, it says the Office of the Mayor and the Rafela chapter. Council seem to be funding the Rafela chapter a lot.
Yes.
That members incurred unaccounted travel expenses from the council's recurrent and development bank accounts, totaling $1,931,442.31 for the year 2022.
Yes.
Now, these expenses include visa processing fees, itinerary and per diem payments to the mayor and Harafela Gambia chapter members.
Yes.
Why will council be paying the mayoress for her travels in relation to Rafela and people that work for Rafela or are affiliated with Rafela?
Wrong. It's all wrong. But you have a CEO, that's the accounting officer of council. Even if you are scared to ask the Lord Mayor, Rafela account should come to council. If you are afraid or scared to do that, you should be bold enough to say that the little crumbs that we have on the B.C.C. cannot go and fund Rafela. If I were a CEO and I'm scared to tell you all projects of council should hit the main radar, I'll be brave enough to tell you that if you cannot help us, leave us with the little that we have.
It says our overview revealed some of the travel expenses were related to Rafela, such as the 2022 Congress in South Korea, which according to the invitation letters, the flight, accommodations, and registration expenses of attendee were sponsored by the Congress.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
We also noted an authentic city of Sakniwa invitation dated April 6, 2022 to the mayor and her assistant Binta Conte to visit the city council of Sakniwa, Texas from 17 to 24 June 2022. However, according to the mayor's Facebook post, printout provided to us as supporting documents, we noted that the mayor visited the state of Arizona University and Minnesota, where she met a Gambian soccer team, the Gambian Association of Minnesota and the mayor of Minnesota from 19 to 24th of June. You see, what they are saying here, literally, is
Yes.
you use public funds for your own personal interest.
Very well.
That's exactly what they are saying.
Yeah, very well.
For their own personal agenda.
Yes, very well.
But that is why there need to be adequate supporting documents, so that if they are not present, any CEO or director of finance should say, I cannot sign this.
Yes.
I cannot authorize this.
Yes.
I cannot append my signature on this because it would not, I cannot support or back up my signature for council's expenses where it does not follow due process.
You are very right, 100%. I concur.
There were also allowances that were paid for Rafaela staffs, you may call them.
Yes, yes.
On page 23, says allowances were paid to 4 members of Rafaela Gambia chapter from council's funds without authority. These allowances amounted to a total of $372,000 in the year of 2021 and $359,400 in 2022. Therefore, being a grand total of $731,400. This allowance is not recognized as a recurrent expense of the council. Also, there was no authority provided for this payment, nor was it part of the budget for both periods.
Yes, before the external auditor
Yes.
captures it, the internal auditor captured it before. But when he raised the issue, they did everything to transfer or take him out of the department, and they end up succeeding in it.
You see, we have to practice for what we preach. You had told the commission here, everybody heard you when you said that the remarks were that I cannot sit and see someone being bitten by a crocodile.
Yes.
And so you bypass procurement where even you have very clear instructions not to proceed with procurement. You went ahead, council, the mayors give instructions for more than about $700,000 or thereabout, correct?
Yes. 1 million.
About $1 million.
Yes, 1 million, yes.
Reason being that there is a crocodile that bit a child in Banjul. Is it Tobacco Road?
Yes, Tobacco Road, yes.
And so you cannot stand by and watch that.
Yes, those are our words.
Yes, we blow hot and cold at the same time. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Yes.
When we see that we can capitalize on the needs of the people, we use that to score points. You understand that? But at the same time, we are seeing people traveling left, right, center, millions of dollars is being subjected to activities that are not council related, does not benefit council and the people in any way, doesn't have justification in any form for why monies are being spent, and they are being spent uselessly
And at the end,
selflessly.
yes, and at the end of the day, they will abscond.
You see, the absconding is even something that is a topic for another day.
Not one. There are about 4 absconds.
Yes, I know it's serious.
Yes.
I'm not trying to downplay.
Yes.
Maybe that was the end point, to provide those people with opportunity, because they have no business in being paid for to go travel for whatsoever purpose for which they are trying to establish. But let's assume that they even traveled and they even came back. You understand? The idea is that money was not supposed to be spent on that.
That's true.
That's the reality.
I concur.
Yes. But people close to people who have power are given opportunity to travel to the US or to wherever they can find their greener pastures, just to give them opportunity to have visas and travel. That's the reality. That's the reality. You know what that does? You know what that does? It will not only cause financial loss to the B.C.C, thereby affecting the lives and livelihood of the people, but also it will hamper the opportunities of genuine people who want to travel, perhaps for education, business, tourism, you name it.
Yeah, I concur. It once happened at the Social Security Housing Finance Corporation, but the senior manager that wrote those letters was terminated, and the institution was blacklisted. For about 5 years, it was difficult to get visas to America to go and pursue educational pursuits.
Mr. Camara, this will be all from me. It's sad that we run our institutions like this, very sad. But that's what the findings are. These are not things that are manufactured. These are findings. And the people that have been mentioned, they will be here. They will sit where you are sitting. They will have the opportunity to counter or provide their explanation. But as far as I'm concerned, these are the findings, and they are very, very serious, and they only talk about how really self-centered some people are in relation to handling the administration of these institutions. And that's a fact.
Yes.
Yes. Honorable Chairperson, that's all for now for this witness, unless there are questions.
I just want to, Mr. Camara, you will come back to help assist in us understanding some of the documents.
Yes, please.
We have admitted.
Yes, no problem.
Because you have admitted.
No problem, no problem,
You have
ma'am.
presented a lot of documents.
No problem, Mama.
Which we will review.
No problem, no problem.
Yes, but one question I want to ask is about the issue. This is contained in your statement, by the way. The issue of bank reconciliation.
Yes.
You've been there for 3 years, correct?
Yes, 3 years, yes.
And if I could read verbatim from your statement.
Yes.
And which has the heading Bank Reconciliation Exercises. I'll just go to the second paragraph, which says the issue of the lack of bank reconciliation statements have been captured in the past external audit reports of Council before I assumed the position as in DOS.
Yes.
All right? And you have highlighted the draft management letter, which was covering the period 1st January 2015 to 31st of August 2017. You also stated that the final management letter with management responses for the period 1st October 2017 to 31st of December 2018. And the final one is the audit report and final management letter for the year ended 31st December 2019 and 2020.
Yes.
Yes, having had all of this information, and what step did you take in trying to make sure that the transactions that you have had, you are able to make some report or some reconciliation to some extent?
Yes.
Why was that not done?
Yes, Mama, that's a good point. And if you go to any finance department, you have what we call a finance pool. A finance pool, you will have partly qualified accountants. You will have people that are studying and are doing very well. They know the bits and pieces of how an accounts department look like. So when I came, I wrote, and these are the 2 letters, and I would like to admit them for exhibit. I wrote to management that I had only 2 staff, and then our transactions are getting voluminous, and we've inherited a lot of challenges in posting, in coding, in reconciliations and all that. Can you please be generous enough to supply me with 2 more assistants so that we can address the challenges that I've inherited. And those challenges were very clear when we went to FPAC. When we went to FPAC, the yesteryears, this year. So when I wrote those memos, at first, the CEO agreed with me. He gave the green light for us to bring a person. And I looked at my team at Ozone Bay and Sun Beach and scouted one Ambalanjai, who was the accountant then. I brought him to help in our bank reconciliation and orders. One day, the mayor, they went and told the mayor that Camara amnakum isifi. That was the end of the story.
English?
One day, the gentleman was working was for a week. One day, he came to work, I think the mayor saw her, and somebody went there and tell her, Camara is in it. And CEO was called by the mayor that they don't want to see the gentleman in the premise of B.C.C. Whatever happens, I should tell the guy not to come to B.C.C. anymore. And I told the CEO, look, our ranks are depleted. Ibu was the only one here with Jatu, and Ibu is gone. It's not coming back. We have to replace him because the work has to be done. But it continues to fall on deaf ears. All I can do was to rely on Jatu and we forge ahead. So that brain still remains in that department, and then I had Muhammed Cham, who applied the job with me. He was acting under prison for 2 years. When it was advertised, he was also shortlisted. I was also shortlisted. So when I succeeded, I came, I told him, my brother, we are all one. Let us try and join ranks and move this department.
Yes. Now,
Yes, so-
sorry, let me
Yes.
interrupt at this point. The Mr. Njai you brought, did he pass through the process to be hired to
Yes,
work under the finance department?
Yeah, what we did was we gave him a 1 month rolling contract. 1 month contract. Yes, 1 month contract to be renewable every month.
Yes, but
Yes.
having given him contract, do you think it was prudent on the side of the CEO and yourself to keep the mayor posted on the staff that are working under the finance department?
Yes.
Not to just
Yes,
walk
yes,
into the
yes.
to the council and see a new staff without knowing how the person has been hired.
You're right, but again, I did,
Yes.
and I followed the due process and the protocols.
Yes.
I wrote to the CEO.
Yes.
The CEO should report to the mayor.
Yes.
I cannot go directly to the mayor. I wrote to the CEO and got an approval. What I expected that once approval of CEO is given, the next minute CEO would have gone to the mayor and said, this is what we have, and this is what I have done, or this is what I want to do. But our reporting lines are the CEO, and that's where I address my issues based on the FPAC. I didn't even only say I want to bring somebody. We went to FPAC, and we were told that we needed to do a lot of things that were also inherited problems that I had. And again, in trying to solve those problems, I said, let's fortify our ranks.
Thank you, Mr. Camara.
Thank you, Mama.
Yes. Any other question? Yes, Mr. Camara. So we'll draw the curtains here for the time being.
Yes.
And we will call you back for sure to clarify on some of these issues.
No problem.
After we may have had the CEO.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Kindly sit down, Mr. Witness. Welcome. Mr. Witness, welcome to this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and Related Matters.
Thank you.
For continuation of your testimony before this commission of inquiry, may I remind you that you are still under oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, over to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cham.
Good afternoon, ma.
You're welcome back.
Thank you, ma.
Council, we may proceed.
Cham, please remind us, for how long have you been finance manager for B.C.C?
Sorry?
For how long have you been finance manager for B.C.C? You don't know?
Yes, I know. I have been appointed as finance manager in 2013.
In?
2013, 1st of October 2013.
You are still with the Banjul City Council?
Yes, on administrative leave.
Please come again.
Yes, on administrative leave.
The special audit for Banjul City Council for the year 2021 and 2022, on page 7, you've had access to this?
Yes.
There were withdrawals that were made amounting to $387,000 in 2021. This is between May to September 2021. Do you have a reason for these withdrawals?
Yes, unless I know the particulars of
Yes,
withdrawals.
between 14th of May to 2021, on the federal May 2021, you signed you received a check of $65,000. 16th of July 2021, $62,000. 9th of September 2021, $75,000. And 15th of September 2021, $185,000.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, all those withdrawals I have seen in the audit report, in the audit query, that they were withdrawals made in my name. And then I later on looked at it. But then after all, I realized that these were all payments made in my name, payments regarding to personal emoluments,
Yes.
pensions, and then maybe, part salary, for example. We used to pay part salary from that, and then even, return checks were sometimes replaced by those withdrawals. And then in most cases, for the credit union we have, checks were made in my name also. For the remittance paid to the credit union. So what I wanted to do was to have a reconciliation, a thorough reconciliation of what has been highlighted as withdrawals, made in my name. So that is what I needed to do, to have a thorough reconciliation, to know exactly.
Did you do that?
No, I did not have the chance to do that because.
You don't have the chance?
No.
Why?
Because at the time I was overwhelmed with work. I was the finance manager of the EU project. I was so much engaged by the project. And then B.C.C as well, so I was running the two. For example, we
This
engaged.
report was in September 2024.
Yes.
You still don't have the chance to substantiate or provide evidence of these withdrawals?
Because my intention was, because by then I was very much engaged by the project, so what I intended to do was.
Which project?
The EU project.
Why will you be engaged with the EU project?
Sorry?
Why will you be engaged with the EU project?
Because remember, I told you I was there on secondment. Okay. So when
you replaced the Director of Finance?
No, the finance manager who was there. in the
Yes.
EU project, yeah. So I was sent there on secondment. I think I tendered that document here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what I intended to do was, because I was very much engaged, and then the project was going to phase out in December 2024. So what I intended to do was, once the project phased out, then I would have the opportunity, the chance to, do my thorough reconciliation, to go through the accounts and then reconcile what has been, regarded as withdrawal.
You had this on top of your head.
Yes.
You were not in the project every single day. How often do you sit? Do you have your meetings? We have the evidence already. How often do you have your meetings?
No, we are for the project, we are engaged on daily basis, because look at the transactions.
No, that's not correct.
No, look at the transactions,
That's
on
not
daily
correct.
basis.
You're the only one who is saying that. You don't have the minutes to back it up that you had meetings every single day. That is not literally true.
Sorry?
You don't meet every day.
You know what, sit?
You don't meet every day.
No, I don't mean sitting. For the standing committee, I don't mean that. I mean the financial transactions on daily basis.
No, you don't have that. You are supposed to find out where this money is, where it has gone to. Do you have any supporting document for these withdrawals?
Yes, in fact, coincidentally, I found, a deposit slip, which I wouldn't know about, but then I just, found it within my documents.
Deposit slip of what?
Of 100,000, that was, from those withdrawals, which I withdrew and then deposited the same day to another bank.
Mr. Cham.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cham, what is the level of your education?
Sorry?
What is the level of your education in finance?
I have done AAT and then part of ACCA.
Part of ACCA. There's nothing like part of ACCA, but at least I get what you are saying. You have started the course, maybe you didn't finish it. Is that what you're saying?
ACCA part 1.
Part 1?
Yes.
Okay, you said part of.
Yes.
So part 1, and you've completed part 1.
Yes.
And so you know that what you are saying doesn't make sense. Is that not the case?
No, what I'm trying to put across is something very clear.
No, it's not clear.
Yeah, sure. It's something very clear, because I know, because I have received this, and then I have seen this. I have gone through, the records, and then
Right.
I have seen most of these, payments that were made in my name.
Right.
Yes, for, official transactions, and then I really need to reconcile them before I know exactly. Because what the auditors were looking up to was, whatever payment they see, maybe they would, need to get the voucher for that. And then in most, cases, we don't have, those payments meant for only one payment voucher. Because we have series of payments that are lying, so when these payments are done, we come and pay this, and then this and this. So we need to know exactly. And then to my...
Mr. Cham.
Yes, sir.
Let's have the facts to be very clear. You have said so much, but yet little. You know? Really.
Okay.
You have said so many things here, but I'm sure everyone is trying to make sense out of what you are saying. The idea or the facts are you made several withdrawals. You need to tell the commission why you made those withdrawals. It's very simple. It's supposed to be very, very, very simple. It's either you can substantiate those withdrawals or you cannot. If you cannot, you say, I cannot. If you can, we want to see the evidence.
What I know for sure is, I have been emphasizing this, that these are payments made in my name, in the sense that this was done in segregation. Because in fact, Ibu would actually process the payment, for example, draw the check, because I was not in custody of the check. Ibu will draw the check, and then this check, will be signed by the Director of Finance and the CEO. So by then I was not a signatory to the account. So you can imagine, the segregation that was done in processing these payments. So I was not doing everything.
I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
How can I imagine that? I just want to see the documents that are involved.
Sorry?
We want to see the documents involved in these withdrawals.
Yes, that's where I'm driving to now.
Okay, let's wait for you then.
Yes, that's where I'm driving to, because what I know for sure is that after doing a thorough reconciliation, I should be able to establish what all these payments were meant for. But then I have a deposit slip that I can tender. It was a cash deposited by myself, after withdrawing that 100,000. That one I know for sure. And then I did not even...
You cannot, so you withdrew from one account and deposited into another account?
Yeah, that was when we are doing transfers from one account to another. Instead of doing direct transfers, we withdraw and then deposit.
Why?
That's what we have been, how we have been doing it.
Why?
Maybe that was regarded as something easier, because...
Easier?
Yes.
Which is easier, direct transfer or physical?
No,
physical transfer?
At the time, looking at our status, the status of the accounts, for example, because the Banjul City Council will actually be, most of the time, be on overdraft, for example. So it will be very precarious or very uncertain to know exactly whether the transactions will actually hold or not.
You deposited how much?
That is 100,000 that I have here.
How much did you withdraw?
It was that same 100,000, because I did not even know about it unless I had to see it from my documents that this was a withdrawal that was done and then deposited to another bank. So I wouldn't know about it until it was found. So which means I should do further reconciliation to know exactly how these funds were disbursed.
What do you want to do with the deposit? You want to have it admitted?
Yes, this one was withdrawn from Trust Bank and then deposited to B.C.C Bank on the 22nd of June 2021.
It says on the deposit slip that it was withdrawn from Trust Bank and deposited to B.C.C Bank?
No, it is a cash deposit slip.
I am asking, the way you are saying it, anyone would think that the document is very clear that it was withdrawn from Trust Bank and deposited to B.C.C Bank. Is that what it says there?
Yeah, exactly, because this one is the deposit.
Exactly, is that what it says?
What I mean is, the other side of it, which is the withdrawal, is already stated there.
Where?
In the statement.
And then and deposit?
And the deposit is here. It's also in the statement. That's what I'm saying.
Let me have that admitted. Then you will understand where we are driving at. So this is a deposit to B.C.C Bank?
Yes.
Arising from a withdrawal you made from Trust Bank?
Exactly.
For the amount of $100,000?
Yes.
Okay, we will have it admitted first. We apply to the tender a B.C.C Bank cash deposit slip with the number 0082576 for the amount of $100,000. The date is 22nd of June 2021, to be admitted into evidence and marked as an exhibit.
A B.C.C Bank cash deposit slip with reference number 0082576 It is dated the 22nd of June 2021. The said deposit slip is admitted in evidence as an exhibit, and it is marked as LGC/BCC/MC/005.
As the commission places.
Is this?
Now, Mr. Cham, we have the deposit to the basic bank for an amount of $100,000, correct?
Yes.
So how do we know that this is the amount you withdrew?
You can have the same reference. That was on the 22nd of June 2021.
Yes.
You can see a withdrawal of 100,000.
Yes.
Which was deposited the same day.
Yes. But how can we know that that's the same amount, that you did not have $100,000 that you were to deposit in the account? That is separate from the one that you withdrew.
No, because apart from that 100,000, there is no, because I was not a revenue collector handling cash also. So
We would not know.
yes.
But we would not know. How would anyone know that is the same amount?
Because that can only be the source of getting this 100,000.
Why is the instruction that you have to withdraw from Trust Bank and deposit to Basic Bank this amount?
Maybe the only thing that we should have done was to have the records.
You and who?
That is the accounts department.
Yes.
Should have the records straight. That is, it should have been entered as a withdrawal and then a deposit. This one is called contra in the cash book, but then no records were found. To my dismay, when all these things were queried by the auditors, I could not see any record in the cash book.
But who do you blame? You're the finance manager. You know how it's supposed to work. So as far as the evidence is concerned, you cannot say that the money that was withdrawn is the money that was deposited.
But somebody was responsible for that, for the cash book and for the
You are
records.
the one who was given the instruction to withdraw by way of a check.
Yes.
And you also deposited an amount to Basic Bank. Where is the instruction?
That was the purpose of the withdrawal, to transfer the funds.
But how do we know
from
that?
Trust Bank to Basic Bank.
But how do we know that?
Just as evident here, because
No, that's
it
not
has
the
been-
evidence.
Okay.
You can have cash in your hand. There can be an instruction to deposit money into the account.
But from
that's
what-
different from the one that you have withdrawn.
But from what source?
You tell us.
Yeah.
If you disregard the procedure, you tell us now. You back it up. That's not for me to tell you. You back it up. If you have done a direct transfer, it will be very clear and obvious.
Yes.
You didn't do a direct transfer. So we know the loophole when it comes to finances in council. There may be $100,000 sitting somewhere, and you were supposed to deposit it. How do we know? That's the amount. That the one that was withdrawn was not shared among few people. And then you have another $100,000 that was put into Basic Bank. And to say what was withdrawn is exactly what was deposited. Where's the instruction authorizing you to withdraw and deposit to, and credit another account?
I think the source documents, have.
Provide us with the
Yes.
source document.
The source documents are actually the checks.
Can
For
you
example,
provide?
the check that was drawn,
Yes,
and then the check number has been clearly stated
yes,
for the 100,000.
yes, for the withdrawal.
Yeah, for the
Yes.
payment for the 100,000, because
Yes.
the purpose of withdrawing that amount was for, the deposit to another bank.
Where is the instruction stating that?
That would have been with the director of finance by then, because
But you being given these instructions must be able to be in a position to prove that. Is that not the case?
yeah, exactly. But then it could have been clear by way of, doing proper recording, for example. Yeah. That
It could have been?
It could have been, clear by doing the, proper accounting records. That is the proper recording in the cash book.
That's where you work.
Because even if that happened, then
Yes.
even the auditors would not actually flag it as a query.
That's for the auditors. That's where you work.
Yes.
You work in the Department of Finance. You know how it's supposed to work.
Yes.
So, what are you talking about now? So the other monies amounting 300. This is not factored in what I read. This was on the 22nd of June.
Yes.
I have shown you withdrawals for the 14th of May, 16th of July, 9th of September, and 15th of September 2021, respectively.
Yes.
And that is the amount totaling $387,000. Do you have supported documents for these withdrawals as well?
Because just as I have highlighted, I need to do proper reconciliation to know exactly, what these payments are, because I cannot see the records in the cash book. So I have to do a proper reconciliation, because there were payments made in my name for, pensions, for example, for allowances for part salary. That is the salary advances that were paid to staff. And then the credit union also, payments were made in my name. And then orders were for return checks. Because when we have checks that were returned, for example, the supplier or the contractor would, actually opt for cash instead of, check again. So we would withdraw and then replace the check with the cash.
Let me show you
We've been
some
doing that.
vouchers bearing your name, Mohammed Cham. Those vouchers?
Yes,
May I please have?
I know all these vouchers, yeah.
We apply to tender the following documents: vouchers, voucher number 1561, 1498, 18000, sorry, 22000359, 21000882, 21001306, 220090, and 1177 into evidence as an exhibit.
7 vouchers are hereby admitted in evidence. All these vouchers are in the name of the witness, Mr. Muhammed Cham. These vouchers are admitted together in a bundle as exhibit, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MC/006.
Ask the Commission, please. The BCC Ostend project. You replaced the finance manager in the steering committee?
Finance manager for the project?
Yes. The
Yes.
steering committee, you were there?
For the project?
Yes.
There was no finance, manager for the steering committee. It's for the project.
Please come again.
I
There
mean,
was
the
no?
finance, manager for the steering committee. I mean, it's for the project, for the EU project.
Yes, but you were at the steering committee, a member of the steering committee.
No,
You were not.
no.
So what was your role?
I was the finance manager.
To do what?
I mean,
Your
responsible,
TOR.
responsible for the financial activities of the project.
And the director of finance?
Director of finance was director of finance of Banjul City Council.
And so the accounts of the project, you were signing off on it together
Yeah,
with?
I was managing the accounts, yes. Of the
How were you
EU
managing the
project.
accounts?
As the finance manager.
How
Yeah.
were you had the right to sign checks?
No, initially no.
But at what point were you signing checks?
There was a time when I was, added as a signatory to the account,
When was this?
unless I check. But then,
Was this the time that the finance director was removed from the steering committee?
yes, because there was a time when there was no steering committee.
You were?
There was a time when there was no steering committee.
Yes.
Because the steering committee, the first one that was formed, that was set up was in January of 2021.
Yes.
And then
It was dissolved.
that one was dissolved in January of 2022.
Yes.
And then from that February to maybe September, there was no steering committee.
Yes.
Yes.
And so you were the one signing the checks?
No. By then it was the director of finance and the CEO.
At some point, the director of finance stopped signing these checks, correct?
At some point, when I was, added, incorporated as a signatory to the account.
Yes.
When I was added as a signatory. Yeah, there were sometimes issues that he would not sign, so, and then I was actually signing
There were issues
together.
that he would not sign. Why
that-
would he
no.
not sign those issues?
No, the real problem, the real thing that, led to that, for me being added as a signatory was when there was an issue, and then the director of finance would not, append his signature for most of the payments that were forwarded to him.
That's Momodou Camara.
Momodou Camara, yes. And then it was said that, I have to be added as a backup, as a signatory to the account, in case we have, transactions that we need to do and then there is nobody to sign, then I can come in.
Do you know why he would not sign?
No, I wouldn't know.
Did you find out?
I wouldn't know exactly, I wouldn't know.
You work under him,
Yes,
so you would not find out why your immediate supervisor or senior would not sign the checks. And so you would
No.
really want to sign the checks.
where this emanated was, as I can remember, was for a town hall meeting that was, proposed for the mayor, for example.
Yes.
And then there was a budget of about 900 and something thousand.
A budget?
A budget, yes, for the town hall.
Project budget or mayor's budget?
No,
Mayor's budget.
A budget for the town hall.
Whose budget?
That was the mayor's budget,
Exactly.
Yes.
It has to be clear. The mayor's budget.
yes.
For how much?
For about 900 and something thousand, I believe.
$900,000.
Yes,
Okay.
unless I get the precise
Yes, you're
figure.
right. That's
Yes.
the amount.
Yes. And then after a series of consultation and then meetings here and there,
Right.
because all of us were there. The mayor did not do it alone. We are all invited,
The mayor did not do what alone?
the budget alone.
Which project?
The budget, the budget for that town hall meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
So you were there, the mayoress was there,
CEO was there, director of
Actually-
finance was there. Yes.
Momodou Camara, director of finance, was present.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And then the project manager was there,
Yes,
Mr. Gano.
yes.
And then I believe Mamlai.
Mamlai Jase.
He was there, yes,
6.
as the project coordinator, yes.
Yes. So all of you were there and you had discussed. Do you have minutes of those meetings?
Sorry?
You have minutes of that meeting?
No, I don't have the minutes.
You discussed that you will have to have a budget for the mayor's town hall meeting.
Yes.
Okay, please proceed.
Because it was something that was already imposed and then we had to maybe go through.
Imposed?
Yes.
How?
In the sense that, most of the budget lines were already created at that time that this is what we should do, this is what we should do for the town hall meeting.
Imposed. When you say imposed, what do you mean? Imposed would suggest that you had no discretion.
That's exactly why, because after presenting a budget that was already done,
No, let me help you. I don't want you to contradict yourself. I am willing to go by the evidence that you have, but we will test the evidence that you want to present. Initially, you said that the mayor did not do it alone. We all did it. Fine, you named the people who were in the meeting.
Yes.
Whatever that means, you will have to clarify. Now you are saying that it was imposed. So,
I want to explain what I mean by that impose.
okay.
What I actually mean by that impose was, we did not put the budget lines together. We already found that, proposals were made that this is what we want to do for a town hall meeting.
Who made those proposals?
It was from the office of the mayor.
Okay. Proceed.
And then we later on met, and then it was forwarded to us, put in front of us, for us to fine tune, to check, and then to, subtract here and there. So that is how we are involved.
Did you guys subtract anything?
Yeah, because initially,
you seem to have confidence what you were saying. Did you guys subtract anything?
Initially, it was over $1 million. Initially,
What is the difference? $1
Yes.
million, and then you trim it down to $900,000.
yes.
That was an achievement.
No, I wouldn't say. I'm not bragging on that. I'm just saying that is how it was done.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to emphasize here.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Cham, do you mean to tell us that, because listening to what you have said, my understanding is that this town hall meeting was not budgeted for. So you were brought in to look for funds to budget this town hall. Is my understanding, am I making sense?
Yes.
What I want to, let me restate what I understand from what you are saying. You said, because council is trying to ask you, what is the meaning of impose? Earlier on, you said that you were all involved, and you named the people that were involved in coming up with that budget of 900 plus, right? So now my question is, was this town hall meeting budgeted for at the inception?
Yeah, looking at
No, answer the question. Was it budgeted for at the inception? Then you can explain.
It was.
If it is yes, you tell us. If it is no, you explain.
It was not highlighted in the project. It was not budgeted for.
Thank you.
It
This
never
is what I
appeared
want
as
to
an
understand.
outline, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Cham. Council, you may proceed.
Yes, Cham. So you had a meeting. The mayor came with her budget,
Yes,
and you had to just discuss the budget.
exactly.
And that's what you meant by it was imposed on you.
Yes, because for my part,
Are you afraid?
no, not necessarily. But
Then
for
say
my
it.
part,
Yes.
what I understood at the time was that there was a scheduled town hall meeting for the mayor,
Yes.
and then where the EU project was going to fund it, and then we're going to maybe scout for the most relevant budget to have that town hall, charge, for example.
That's what you
because
understood.
yes, we have the visibility budget, of course, which we looked at, and then we noted that there was a substantial amount that was allocated for the visibility budget. So this, idea of having the town hall meeting was supposed to be, charged from that, budget, the visibility budget, which was at that time very substantial. So that's why, it was agreed that after looking at the budget, and then it was streamlined, then we can go ahead in paying SAPS Multimedia in order to have the town hall done, for example. So that was the idea or the discussion at the mayor's office at that time. But then, after all, when we dispersed, maybe we could not agree, like the finance director at that time would not agree to that. For example,
Why?
Because maybe he did not deem it as something that was part of the project, for example.
Because it was not part of the project.
Yes.
You agree that it was not part of the project?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's how it was done. And then people were running from responsibilities immediately after, because immediately after when we dispersed, project manager would say, anyway, for me, anyway, the CEO is there. If he doesn't do anything, I will not do anything, for example. And then others were running away from responsibilities.
Because?
For me, yes, because they did not deem it as something
Lawful.
that is in line, yes. Exactly.
They knew it was not lawful. I agree with that. They have the feeling it was not lawful.
Yeah, perhaps that's the feeling.
Yes.
Yeah, and then for my side, what I said was, for me, I can only process this payment upon having approval from the necessary officers, approving officers and so forth. And then once every approval is done and then the underlying documentation is done for me to pay, then I can go ahead. But if that is not done, then I cannot pay.
Was that done?
It was not done. It was never done that way, because that budget was scrapped and then it was not affected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, so some of these reasons were the issues that would lead the Director of Finance to be removed from the steering committee. Do you know about this?
No, I wouldn't know about it.
But
because
you knew about the fact that there were problems with the Director of Finance and Mr. Bachili because of the unwillingness to sign some checks. You have said that.
for me, what I know, I wouldn't call it the fact that the Director of Finance was removed from the steering committee. What I would call it was, the Director of Finance was part of a steering committee that was dissolved.
Yes.
It was dissolved in January of 2022, but so by that time, there was not a steering committee.
This was after
Yes.
the refusal to sign these checks.
Yeah, they may be linked in any case. They
That's
may
not
be
like
linked.
maybe linked.
Yes.
See, Mr. Cham,
Yes,
when something is clear, we say it as it is.
yes.
When we see a spade, we call it a spade. You know that you were only drawn in to sign checks because they couldn't have their way with the Director of Finance in some cases. That is a fact. There's no hide and seek in that. That is a fact.
Yes,
It's yes.
because I was also not solely responsible for approving also.
The CEO
I was
was
just
there.
supposed to be a to countersign, yes.
So the CEO was there.
The CEO was there as the approving officer, as the accounting
we will
officer.
come to that.
Yes,
The fact of the matter is, you became relevant in signing checks because the Director of Finance would not sign checks. Is that a false statement or a truthful statement?
I wouldn't have the linkages there.
Then
for
you were not
example.
honest.
Yes.
If you don't link it like that, then you are not honest.
Because for me, what I can remember was that I have been, incorporated as a signatory to the account.
Under what circumstance can,
And then,
under what circumstance should you be called upon to sign a check when there's Director of Finance? Going by basic accounting principles.
no, I was just added as a signatory to the account.
In the event,
In the event we did not have, the other signatory, for example.
you don't have the Director of Finance.
Yes.
Yes. In the event, the CEO, you cannot deputize the CEO, can you?
No.
No, you cannot. If the CEO is not present, you cannot sign for the CEO, can you?
No.
Exactly. You can only sign for who?
But
Who can you deputize?
the
Director of Finance.
The Director of Finance.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the logic. It's just very simple logic. So therefore, if he is absent, the CEO, there's someone else to sign for him, the Director of Administration.
Yes.
Yes, that's the process. If the Director of Finance is not available, you are there in this circumstance.
Yes.
Now, for every signature, you should know whether the Director of Finance is available to sign or not. If he is not present and the circumstances are such that you can sign, then you sign. Did you exercise your discretion?
No, in fact, when I took over, as part of the signatories, and then I started signing, that was when I started signing. So he was never part of the signatories at that time.
He was?
He was not signing at that time.
He was never part.
No, he was not signing at that time when I assumed the responsibility of.
But that's my point.
Yes. Yeah.
My point is you were brought in to do a job that he was not willing to do. Because if he was signing the checks, you would not be called upon. Is that not true?
That may be the case.
No, Mr. Cham, see.
Because
look. Even a 5-year-old child will know that the answer is yes. Don't ridicule yourself. Based on your own explanation, what you are saying, it is very clear that you said the Director of Finance was not willing to sign checks, some checks. That's what you said. Did you not say that?
Yeah, that was after a fallout.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's why you were called.
Yes.
If there was no fallout, you would not be called. Correct?
Yes, exactly.
So why would it be difficult for you to admit that? It's not your making that you are called to come and sign checks, but you are called to come and sign checks because there was a fallout.
Yes.
That's it. Now, you, as the deputy for the Director of Finance, you are now coming to do a job that he's not willing to do. Did you ask him why he's not willing to do that job? You did not.
No.
Good. No. You sat in a meeting with the Director of Finance. $900,000 was supposed to be paid. He said, I am not going to sign the check. The people you were in the meeting start to fall back because they realize, according to your own words, that it may not be in line with procedure.
Yes.
You have that experience. Then there is a reason to suspect that they may want things that you should do which may not be in line with financial regulation. Did you consider this?
Yes, because what I know, was that even if I am, incorporated as a signatory to the account,
yes.
Because all I do is, because I look at the transactions and
Yes.
then I process the transactions.
Right.
And in any case, we always have to seek for approval from Osten
Yes.
before we can process our payments. So if that is done and then we have approval from the CEO, then the things will continue as the same as what you used to obtain.
Ostend, they don't know the procurement requirements. If a payment seems to be genuine, they will just give their approval. So that's how you guys evade and bypass all regular procedure. And for the most part, so there are some that there were no approval. But even if there were approval, they would not know the procurement. They had urged that you have to follow procurement. They think that you follow procurement in all payments. Peter sat here and genuinely believed that you guys follow procurement procedures in all aspects. Was that true?
No.
Was that true?
Sorry? Was what
Peter,
true?
you know Peter?
Yes.
He sat where you were sitting here yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
And I asked him, and he said, yes, he believed that you people followed procurement regulations throughout. Was that true?
Yes, I can also assert the same because
Cham, if you assert that, you will probably be lying before the commission because there's ample evidence. Witnesses sat here and they admitted, and the evidence is very clear. Contracts that were issued. And you must provide the procurement rules, procedure that was followed and the method that was followed. If you say yes, you have to, because then you will have been lying to the commission.
The reason why
there's no reason. Did you follow procurement in all your financial transactions?
Not all, but in most of the transactions, because
again,
I know we have been dealing with GPPA.
Again, another lie, Mr. Cham.
For me, the reason why I said I cannot lie is because what I am saying is what I believe to be the truth. And then if this is what I believe to be true, is what I'm saying, then I cannot be lying unless I know that this is the truth and then I try to deviate from that. And then I'm not trying to do that.
If you have
I'm not trying to do that.
You must have reasonable belief. You are a professional. You know about procurement. You know there should be a procurement process. You know what that is. And you, Muhammed Cham, you have been given impress in several instances. You followed procurement process in the disbursement of those funds?
Impressed for what? If it is the petty cash impressed, that one is for petty cash operations.
See, this is the issue, Mr. Cham. You can't, just because something is highlighted as petty cash and therefore it is petty cash, there are rules for petty cash by the financial manual. There's a rule for impress by the financial manual. And what is supposed to be for emergency expenditure. So you can't just, because you mark it as petty cash or you mark it as impress, so therefore it's an impress. No, it's fraudulent. It's fraud. It's conversion. It's stealing. That's the reality. Let me just read some of the messages that were given to you. Mohammed Cham, disbursement of replacement of petty cash impress for minor payments of petty cash vouchers, $9,625. The list goes on. Mohammed Cham, being replacement of impress for petty cash payments, $9,129. Again, another $9,150. The list goes on. Impress, $9,375, $4,450, and it went on. Your name is here. It's all your name. So out of the 178,550 euros. Oh, sorry, before $328,394. We only have Hannah Barry making having two payments to her name by way of impress, but the rest is all you, Mr. Cham. Did you retire this impress?
Yeah, I just want to explain that because that one is different from the normal impress that you are talking of. This is a petty cash impress system that was operated by the EU project. And then this was from the inception. The finance manager who was there used to handle the petty cash, or I don't know, the secretary, for example. An allocation will be done because there was always a float at the beginning of the year. And that float will be replenished at given intervals. So this is for the minor payments of petty cash. It always happens because these are impress. And then...
Mr. Peter gave evidence here. He said, I just want you to corroborate that evidence. He said at the inception of the project that you used to expend the money without approval. Is that correct?
Without approval from them, yes, that's correct.
Yes. So why then did they, at a later stage, come in to say, before you expend the money, you must seek our approval? Why? Why was that introduced at the latter part of the execution of the project?
Yes, that was before I joined the EU project. Because
now
after...
wait. Tell us when you actually joined the EU project.
On the 25th of October 2021.
25th of October?
2021.
2021.
Yes.
Yes. So when did the project start?
In March 2020.
2020.
Yes.
Okay. So when did they give written instruction that for whatever expenditure you need to make, you must receive their approval? When did they give that instruction?
I think that was after the town hall meetings. The expenditure that they were seeing in the town hall meetings. Yeah. Because normally when we do our expenses here, we do send reports. And then the DBE, detailed breakdown of expenditure, we will show every form of expenditure that has been done. So they were not, I mean, that thing was not going well with them. And then they wrote, an agreement that we should, observe this 4I principle, whereby they will be part of the signatories. They will have to.
Yes.
And we will have to.
I understand that portion. But
yeah.
let me refer you to your statement of the 25th of September 2023. You said you were the acting director of finance of the council from 17th of July 2018 to the 3rd of November 2020.
Yes.
And you said you received this instruction in March 2020. Is that what you said?
Which instruction?
from the project that you should now be asking for their approval before you expend the money?
That was instituted before I joined them, that we should be, sending for approval from them before we do any expenditure. Because when I joined them, I found them.
This cannot be correct. Your mathematics is not correct. This is not. If you look at the dates and the time, you said the project has a Dalasi account. That is the second paragraph of your statement that I have referred you to. You said the project has a Dalasi account at B.C.C Bank and also both Dalasi and Euro account at EcoBank. Prior to my secondment, I was the acting director of finance. So I just want to marry these dates to see at what point were you there and at what point were you signing these checks. When did you start signing checks for the project?
That was when I was the finance manager of the project. When the first finance manager resigned, and then I took over. That was after the 25th. In fact, it was in 2022.
You went into the project in 2022?
In 2021, but then I started signing in 2022.
What time in 2022?
Unless I check. But then, when I was there initially, it was the director of finance and the CEO who used to sign.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Council, you may proceed.
Yes, so did you retire?
Sorry?
The money that were given to you, did you account for that money?
Yes, these are, as I was just saying, these are just petty cash impress system.
Yes.
Allocation will be done, and then there will be expenditure.
Yes, and then?
And then after, because this is something that you have in hand, so if it is exhausted by way of paying vouchers, then reimbursement is done.
Do you have those vouchers?
Sorry?
Do you have those necessary supporting documents?
Yeah, we have receipts and vouchers that would back all those payments.
Okay.
Petty cash
Can
payments.
you provide?
Yes, we can provide those
Yes,
receipts.
please, write it down. We want you to provide it.
Provide them by tomorrow.
Yes.
Thank you.
You were there when mobile phones were procured?
No.
You were not present?
No, that was at the starting of the project. Yes.
So you were not given a mobile phone?
I was at some point. No, I was handed over a mobile phone by the by my predecessor, the finance manager.
Did you benefit from the loan?
Yes.
Did you pay the loan?
Yes, fully paid.
How was the loan issued?
This loan was issued in January 2022, following a steering committee meeting where it was decided that we can have an advance, because we in fact call it an advance of 40%.
How can you advance yourself for a meeting that did not happen? How could you advance for a meeting that never happened? There's not an employment.
No. I mean advance from our salaries.
You don't have a salary. This is allowance.
No. These salaries, I was part of the project team. I was receiving salary, not allowance.
For the project?
Yeah, it's the project steering committee that was receiving allowance.
Allowance.
Yes.
So you were receiving?
Salary.
For
the EU project.
And then they gave you the loan for how much?
Because I think I have, unless I check, it's about either 200 and something thousand.
That you were given?
Yes.
Was that part of the project to give loans?
No, it was not part of the project. But then it was part of our human resource, emoluments. For example, our personal emoluments.
But not part of the project?
It was not part of the project.
So it was
but then it was also part of the project by way of entitlement.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
Mr. Cham, you see, I don't understand you. It is not. Everybody agreed it was not.
Unless if we were not entitled to monthly salaries. But then at that time we knew we were entitled to monthly salaries until December 2022. So we said we are going to take advance of 40%, and then henceforth we will start receiving 60% of our salaries.
Forget about that. Were you receiving Christmas and Tobaski bonuses?
Yes.
That is also part of the project as well?
According to the project coordinator, the EU project coordinator. It was proposed by him, and then he said it was an incentive and it can be charged.
Who is that?
Jonas.
He
Jonas.
proposed that you be given Christmas and Tobaski bonus.
Yes, and then it can be charged from the indirect cost. That's what he said at the
Charged
time.
from
the indirect cost.
What do you mean by that?
The indirect cost.
How can it be charged the direct cost?
Because for the project, in the budget you have two components. You have the direct cost, and then you have the indirect cost. The indirect cost was meant for other expenses that were not related to any of the components.
Okay, and
Yes.
which are? Give us example.
Even the steering committee allowances, monthly allowances, is charged from the indirect cost.
You are struggling to justify. You guys spend $496,000 is for Christmas and Tobaski bonuses. You have a project to oversee.
Yes.
You guys were paying yourself bonuses. What kind of a project is that? What kind of a project is that? And you were the finance manager?
Yes, I was the finance manager, but it
what?
was proposed by the EU project coordinator, and then he said it was going to be charged from the indirect cost.
And you agreed to that?
Yes, because the indirect cost was meant for that. Because if not, then the indirect cost was going to be wasted. That's what he said.
Where is the approval?
The approval is online.
Online where? Where online?
Because by then, how we used to operate is...
Can you provide the approval that was communicated to you?
yeah, approval by way of himself approving the payment.
Can you provide the approval?
Yes, I can look for the approval.
Can you provide it?
Which kind of approval are you talking of?
The one you are referring to. It's not me. You are the one who referred.
Yes.
You said there's an approval.
That approval is what I'm saying. It was approved online by him.
Can you provide the approval?
Yeah,
Is it a yes or a no?
From the system, I can look at it and then...
However you provide the approval, can you provide it?
Yes.
Then provide it.
Yes.
Write it down. A and K.
Sorry, let me just ask this. In addition to the allowances you are paid, you are also paid a management designation allowance. How much was it?
That is from B.C.C.
That is not from the project?
No, it's from B.C.C.
Yes, and how much were the senior officers receiving?
That management designation allowance was, paid to the mayor, deputy mayor.
How much? Tell us each one.
The mayor was receiving 20,000.
Yes, the deputy.
Deputy mayor 15,000.
Director of finance.
Director of finance 10,000.
Finance manager.
No, not the finance manager. The CEO.
CEO, how much?
CEO, I believe 15,000.
Finance manager.
No, the finance manager was not part of it.
Okay. All right. Please continue.
Yes.
Yes.
The A&K Analytics Limited, do you know them?
Yes.
There was a payment of $93,000 is for the development of a software, another $90,000 is another $46,600 altogether. The amount that was paid to A&K Analytics Limited was $233,000. Were you the one who signed for this payment?
It was only the last payment that I was part of. The initial two payments were done by the Director of Finance and the CEO.
I asked him, he said he did not take part in this too.
Because when I joined the project in 2021, I found them already initiated this development, that they were going to develop a software.
Payment. Did you authorize, did you sign as finance manager for these three payments?
No. Only the last 20% that was paid.
Which is?
Let me check that.
How much?
Let me check that. Yes, that was the 46,600.
Was this software delivered?
This software was not delivered.
Why was it paid for?
It was paid for. It was only presented, but then it was not delivered.
Why was it paid for then? What do you mean it was presented but not delivered?
Yeah, I can explain that.
Yes.
When I joined the project, the project manager told me that they were developing a software. It was initiated by the then finance manager,
Yes.
the ITURE, and then the software has already been developed by ANK Analytics. So he will actually come so that we can look at it. And then there is a balance payment that we need to effect. Yeah. And then when this man came, we looked at the software together, because I was there by then. And then it was deemed to be not compatible with our reporting format, our reporting system. So we highlighted some issues that needed adjustment. And then the agreement was that he was going to go back and then maybe do the adjustments. And then from there, maybe we can look at compatibility issues whereby it will be along the lines of the reporting format for the project that was already presented by the EU.
Yes.
Yes. So when that happened, after consultation with the EU coordinator,
Right.
And then there was another template that was developed for the reporting.
Yes.
So it was agreed that, in fact, what we are trying to look for in that software is already achieved in what we have already produced. So we can go ahead with that, and then the software will no longer be necessary, because it was in the first place not compatible, because we are dealing with two currencies, that's the euro and the dalasi. So we'll be doing our transactions in dalasi and then reporting in euros. So I developed that trail that is from the dalasi to the euros, and then it was accepted. So that is how we started using that format, and then this one was regarded superfluous anyway.
It was never delivered?
No, it was not delivered because...
And it was paid for?
It was paid for, yes.
Why did you pay the last 20% when it was not delivered?
No, the last payment was followed after the subsequent, first two payments.
Yes,
so
but
this
the
was
last payment,
this was
you needed evidence of delivery.
Exactly. So this was
Why did
raised.
you pay?
This was raised by the project manager, that the contractor has already done his part. He has already developed the software.
Did you verify?
Sorry?
Did you verify?
Yeah, because it was presented to me.
Did you verify the delivery before you pay the 20%?
No, I mean the software was already developed by the developer.
Did you verify delivery before paying the 20%?
I wouldn't know whether there was any delivery note unless I checked.
Were you supposed to verify delivery before you paid the last 20%?
Yes.
Why did you not?
No, I cannot be sure whether I have.
You did not, because if you had made an effort to find out, you would realize it was not delivered. You told us it was not delivered. So even if you tried to find out, you will realize it was not delivered.
But then it was presented as
presented and delivery is different.
Yes.
I asked you the difference, you explained the difference. Here, you yourself said the two are different. Now, was it delivered? You said no. Why would you pay? Last 20%. Any reason?
Yes, the reason was because two subsequent payments were made, and then there was a balance.
The balance was supposed to be premised on delivery.
Exactly. And then this project manager would say, this contractor has already done his part.
Was that true?
Yes, because it was already developed by him. The software was already developed by him.
No, the software must meet the necessary agreement, because if there were any, if you order for goods and they didn't meet the specification, you should not pay.
Okay.
Not okay. You don't agree?
Yeah, I agree, because there should have been a delivery note, or the software should have been delivered before the last payment was effected. I
So
know.
why would you pay?
Yeah, that's what I just want to verify, to know exactly how it was paid.
See, you were brought to rubber stamp. You were brought in to just rubber stamp payments. You yourself know that. You yourself, you know you are the easy guy. Mr. Cham, I look at you now, I know you are the easy guy. That's the issue. You are brought to just rubber stamp every payment.
Easy in what sense?
It's easier, much easier to deal with you than Momodou Camara. You don't agree?
I wouldn't agree.
Why would you not agree? Tell us the moments that you had said you would not agree to a payment. Give us the list of payments that you rejected.
But then the reason for rejection should also be highlighted.
If you don't have any reason to reject any payment, it means all payments were rubber stamped by you. Give us one example that they came with a certain payment that was substantial. You said, no, I cannot sign because it did not follow due process. Because for the most part of it, they did not follow due process. So now tell us.
No, I cannot highlight any issue regarding.
Not even one?
No, I cannot.
When is that of finance?
Because the reason why
is
because nothing has ever been forwarded to me that I say, no, I'm not going to sign this also.
Because you are a rubber stamp.
Because whatever comes to me, I already, would have known that it followed due process, for example, or all the necessary documents would have been attached.
No.
Yes.
No. Look, there are several examples here. We have seen the contractors, even some of the contractors who are given contracts without following due process. They have admitted to that. It's very clear. You were there. You were rubber stamping. You're saying yes. In fact, as far as you're concerned, once the CEO okays the payment, then you have to just sign. That's how you understood it, genuinely. Correct?
Yes.
You see? You were a rubber stamp, my friend. That's the reality. That's the hard fact. I'm not saying this because I want to tell you this, but that is the fact. From the evidence that we have gathered from Mr. Camara's testimony down to your testimony and what is on the ground, the contractors, they have testified. Some of them don't have contracts. They don't have program processes that they followed. They were just single sourced. That's why I said you were a rubber stamp. And your own experience in relation to the first meeting, $900,000 has been rejected. You know, even the people who were in the meeting were backtracking, changing their positions. And you know why? Because they had said maybe it's not in line with procedure. Don't be the guy that does that.
No, that one was rejected by everybody, of course.
No, you did not. You did not say that. You did not disagree with that. The others, they disagreed. You did not disagree with that. You were their guy to do the job. You may not have enjoyed the money, maybe not, but you helped them in a very nice way to have checks signed, left, right, center, withdrawals made. $100,000 is withdrawn, the work of $10,000 has been done. No improvement, no success. You see, that's why the report is full of suspected activities. We have on page 74, suspected fraudulent overbilling and invoice padding. See, it says, during the review of procurement documents and payment records, it was revealed that the project procured and paid for a total of 60 bins on wheels amounting to $600,000 from Dembas Trading. However, upon physical verification and confirmation, only 17 bins on wheels were delivered. This is in July 2021. Were you there?
No. I was not part of that distinct process.
But you were not there in July 2021?
I was there.
As
the finance manager.
So why were you not part of the process?
No, I did not even know about it because it had to do with the project itself. By then I did not join the project.
So you see how they were operating?
Yeah, but then that one was signed by the director of finance, Mr. Camara.
When you said you were not part of it, I am not insisting. The evidence will be there.
Yes.
Do you understand that? But I'm just telling you, you see how they operate. Do you understand that? That's all I said.
Yeah, but I'm also looking at the attribution of being a rubber stamp, the easy guy. Maybe you would have thought that I am the one who processed that payment. And then it was.
I thought genuinely,
Yeah.
that's why I asked you whether you
Yes.
were part of it. You said no,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Absolutely. For that payment, you said no. But again, Mr. Cham, that is the issue we have with respect to payments that were made. Were there trainings and retreats and activities that were conducted during your time? No?
Trainings
Yes.
and retreats.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a retreat that was conducted at Apkas Creek Lodge in Bintang.
Yes.
Yeah, training for the steering committee and the project team,
Right.
and another one for the councillors.
Correct.
Yes.
And you were given an imprest?
Yes, yes.
How
I was
much?
given him. It's about 400 and.
Did you retire?
Yes, let me check the first one. The first one was 417,000. Let me check.
Yes.
Council, I believe is a convenient point. We will continue tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a chairperson.
So, Mr. Cham, you will have the opportunity of checking this, this point
Okay.
through your records. So when we come tomorrow, we will continue.
Okay, ma.
Thank you. We may rise.
Thank you, ma.